Symphonia and Partners for Possibility for inviting me. I really, really am happy to be here. I love seeing groups of people like this. I think it says a lot about the hunger for knowledge, the hunger to know more, the hunger to know better, the hunger to do better, take better actions, and actually have better. And that responsibility mostly lies with us. But I didn't really prepare a slideshow, and I like going with the feel of the room and the audience. And today I'm not necessarily going to go with that, but more on Emmanuella's talk on Allan Gray and investing and time and having the right discipline and all of those things. So when I had a chat with Luba a couple of weeks ago, we were mostly talking about this, all right? And this is a journal, not a book. This is a journal that I've authored, and it's called Financial Fitness to Financial Freedom. And I'm saying it's a journal because it's not a book, it's not a novel. It's not something you can chill in the evening and read over a night or two, and then you're finished with it and you carry on. But this is to build discipline. This is to help teach you more. This is to help get you to take more action towards the right kind of things or the goals that you've set for yourself. There was a lady sitting behind me, and I think it's you, lady in the yellow and red dress, that said something when the video started. What you? I like this video. Or you? I like this ad. It was you, right? Okay. So I think I'd like you to share with the room why. Why does that advert speak to you? Because the moment it came up, you're like, I like this ad. Why?
Which one?
The one with the kid and
Oh, yes.
going to school and black saving money and saying this so
Okay, no, that.
gone wrong and that has gone wrong.
So that ad reminded me of my childhood. So we used to bake things, we sell them in order to have food. So back then, I come from a very poor background. So our grannies would plant beans, masimini, and then we'll harvest them. We pack them nicely. We sell them in the streets, in the location, in fact, not in. Yes, we take them to school, put it in our bags, and in our plastic bags, and then when it's time for break, we sell them to the teachers. So it was interesting. And then we're using those stoves as well. Thank you.
I like that. So I just took note of what you said. So the lady mentioned something about a long time ago that she used to do in her family, place of home, what you guys used to do as kids or in the family, at schools, and what you used to do with that money and the beans that you sold. And I think, again, that speaks to time. And Emmanuel spoke about that a lot, and the power of compound interest. I'm not sure if you guys knew much about investing back then, but it doesn't matter. At least you had a way of living. You had a way of making a living for yourselves when there probably was a bit of a shortfall with regards to that. So I want to read something that's on here, and that's really why I didn't prepare slides, because I want to talk about also a bit around what is Symphonia about and Partners for Possibility. So I'll read something. It says here, Leadership Development Program focuses on asking partners, that's why you guys are here, on asking partners to change collaboratively together at 4 levels in the school environment. And it says those levels are the school principal, the school management team, the teachers, and the community. So you guys are here to also help drive the collaboration. I don't know if we mostly have principals here, or school management teams, or school teachers, and maybe a bit of community, but it's a communal effort. When I walked in here, there's a gentleman who came to have a chat with me. So he came and he said to me, but financial literacy, I thought you guys were going to do something for the kids, for the scholars, for the learners. And that excited me. I think you can ask Emmanuella. I'm like, well, connect me with your people and we'll do more of this, But I think besides that, it starts with us, guys. It honestly does. I've got a 6-year-old at home. Igama lakhe Nkongao. Konga, I am Xhosa, never mind the hair. I am Xhosa. I'm under John. I didn't even introduce myself, but I think Luba did. I've got a 6-year-old at home. And even though I've authored this daily diary, I haven't taught him much from a financial literacy and factual perspective. But you bet you're behind. You will not rob him. He's 6. You won't rob him. And I always get emotional when I talk about this because it has proven to me that how we model financial behavior at home, how we model financial behavior in church, how we model financial behavior at schools, and you guys are sitting with that opportunity. We see very few kids besides the ones that are, endlini. But I think you guys have an awesome opportunity to impart knowledge. So here it says at the end, inspire, involve, create, and sustain. Do you guys agree with me that how we model any behavior, abantwana bayafunda all the time? And I always say, I've taught my son so little about money, but he already knows so much. He already knows so much. So he comes some Fridays, not every Friday, he'll be like, did you fill up my tuck card? I'm like, but you haven't shared with me that you've been spending this week. So my assumption is that you haven't been buying at the tuck shop. So he's like, yeah, I haven't, but now and again you're supposed to fill up. So in his mind he's thinking, there's still only 100 rands there. It's been 4 weeks. Don't think I'm not going to the tuck shop because I don't want to. I want to see more of that money. Whatever he thinks he'll do with it, it doesn't matter. But he's thinking, I actually want to see more of it. I'm going to spend less at the tuck shop so I can see more of that money. It is so powerful. He teaches me so much. And that's why I'm authoring a book for kids at the end of this year. Well, we've already written it. It's with the publishers. So I do have a business partner, Nelisiwe Ndlovu. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here with us today. So as I was reading inspire, involve, create, and sustain, I'm going to focus on the first and the last one. So it says here, and as we're sitting here today, I did always take the opportunity that you guys see children every single day. And that's why I'm referring to what the gentleman came to say to me earlier, to say, I thought you guys were talking more about the scholars, like they need the education. They do, but if we try to teach them a certain way, and yet we're modeling something different, then I'm not sure we're teaching them much. We're confusing them probably. So it says here to inspire, because I feel you guys have that platform, and it's a beautiful platform. It's a big responsibility, but I think it's awesome. So it says to inspire is to fill someone or people with the urge or ability to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. The ability. Now, you can't inspire somebody when you don't have the ability to do so. So that's why we're here, to teach you guys a bit more than what you probably already know, to motivate you guys to get to take more action than probably some of the action you've already taken. I heard a lady here asking, I think it was you, ma'am, asking, but do you have to do ongoing contributions for the investments, or can it be once off or something like that? That's acquiring more knowledge, because chances are most of you already know that to save, you have to keep contributing. But that's not the only way. But if you guys don't have that more vast and broader learning and knowledge, you can't have the ability to inspire the kids that you guys see on a daily basis. Because for them to learn, they learn from us. Then now there's a lot that happens, and that's why I'm saying I'll focus on, it says here, inspire, involve, create, and sustain. And I'll focus on the first and the last. And sustain's meaning or definition says, to strengthen or support physically or mentally. And I think it's so powerful. Because to support anything, it means you need to continuously keep doing it. Right? You need to just keep on doing it. And I think if you then think about the fact that you guys have these kids that you're trying to hone, different knowledge, different skills, and different mental strengths and emotional impact or whatever it may be, you just like us as the parents, need to just keep on doing that. And I'm saying us as the parents as well because we play a big role in that sustaining. And I know this because I've got a 6-year-old in grade 1. And sometimes we get called in for meetings and they're like, guys, as parents, please remember what we try to teach the kids here. You need to keep instilling it at home. Because it doesn't end with you guys. It continues with us at home as well. Okay. And then I wanted to ask a few people, because when we talk about financial literacy, it's so broad. We talk about financial literacy. We talk about financial well-being. We talk about financial fitness. And obviously, I like that one. That's why my book is called Financial Fitness, because I believe in the power of consistency. I know Emmanuella spoke about power of compound. It's actually the same thing. There's a consistent thing that happens there. There's interest on interest on interest on interest on interest. Same as when you are on a fitness journey of anything. There's consistency. I'm looking at you because I'm like, well, body-wise, we're probably kind of the same, If you wanted to lose 10 kilograms, man, there's no possible way you're going to go to the gym once a month or 3 times a year. I know, because if I do that, I don't get the results. But if I keep on doing it, while I'm applying a whole lot of other things but then am I also eating right? I'm gymming, yes. Am I eating right? Am I always, having enough fluid so that I can help to detox myself? There's so many things that have to do with that fitness journey. And I think it applies to so many different things. So you will also get financial awareness, which is what you guys are kind of getting today. You're getting the financial awareness. But a lot of the other things are up to you as well. And I think that's why we put together tools like this to say, you need to take action to actually learn more about how to manage your money. And managing your money is not just about making a decision today to say, oh, there was this nice pretty girl that spoke from Allan Gray. I really liked her. I liked her talk or whatever it is. I'm going to start putting that minimum 500 rands. And this is something that Luba and I spoke about last week, that I know we really encourage people to do the right thing, but sometimes the right thing may not be the right thing for you at that time. And I'm saying this because I know the facts of how much debt we as South Africans are in. And I really want to encourage you guys to take it upon yourselves to say, it would be nice to actually save more. It would be nice to keep my retirement money much longer, so that when I don't actually need to access it, I can spend maybe on my tax-free savings account and leave my provident fund to accrue even a bit more. Just like we saw that graph of saving for 10 years and then starting only 10 years later to save. But it is to say, if you don't have the money right now, don't put yourself in a position where in a year's time you've been saving and you realize, flip, I actually have not been managing to do all my financial responsibilities because of the fact that something nice has to be done. Is it the right thing right now? So in the journal, we talk a lot about managing your debt. We talk a lot about take action. But while you take action, realize that sometimes you will fall. Sometimes something won't go right. But how do you take a step back and actually reflect on what has happened? Why did it not go as planned? How do you almost kind of like get up and just dust yourself off and continue? Okay. And then I think in closing, what I want to say with regards to the 4 pillars, that there's the school principal, there is the school management team, there's the teachers, and there's the community. And all of these things are also important for the benefit of the child. Because if we're trying to change South Africa, if we're trying to transform and build a different and a better legacy, like the video that we watched right at the beginning, to say, this dad actually really invested in this child with the hope that they're going to be something one day. Something that he probably couldn't be because he had to sacrifice. I'm not so sure if that boy got it right, you know? Because then the dad called and said, congrats, you got a promotion. And he's almost like, oh, flip. Was it a promotion kind of a thing, you know? But anything can go wrong. At least he's working. And he probably has an idea of where he wants to go. He might not be there right now. Probably that phone call of a promotion was a moment to say, flip, I'm not where my dad was actually hoping I'd be. I haven't reached my goals yet, but I still can. I can do things differently. And I feel we can teach our children differently. We can model financial management, financial well-being, financial awareness, financial literacy, financial fitness, a whole lot of things, if we have the understanding of how to have better management capabilities, as the definition says, so that we can actually inspire. Thank you so much, guys. Any questions? Do you have a question, ma'am? Okay. No questions, just a comment.
On the story about the little boy, I love it so much. I think the boy must have thought that the uncle was ill-treating them. And I wonder what is it that he thought about when he found that the uncle was saving money for him. It must have broken his heart very dearly.
I think that is kind of that emotional part of the ad, where they open the book, it's like flip. You know?
What I want to say is, Emmanuella said something about patience when she started. And I feel like, you know, when we talk about investing and all of that, we should also talk about, I don't know how to put it, but what's the word? Cutting our expenses as well. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, you know, we tend to spend more. That's how we get into debts. And then it's difficult to save when you're already, you know, living beyond your means. So I think it's also important as well to try and trim off unnecessary expenditures and, you know, yeah, you know.
That's very important. I think around just on the behavior of being patient, knowing when to cut down so you can actually start doing things differently. So you have to sacrifice. And maybe sometimes it's not even sacrifice, but you have to clean up. The last event I spoke at, my topic was spring cleaning your finances. Sometimes you just have to do that. It's not a matter of the fact that you're trying to see where else. You're doing it wrong. We're squandering money. We're not using money the right way. So beginning of the year, I wrote an article about how I paid myself 38,000 rands last year. And I want to share this with you guys because I think it's so easy and it's so possible. All of us have bank accounts, right? And all of us buy groceries, right? I'm not going to promote any company today, but all of us buy groceries, right? Most of us, or some of us, have either bonds or cars or whatever, or any other debt where we're paying interest towards, right? Cool. We all put petrol in the cars that we drive, right? Good. It's mostly those things. So I'm sure you guys are aware, and maybe you've just never looked too much into it, that any bank that you use, most banks these days, if not all of them, have rewards programs. Yes. I love mine, because that's how I paid myself 38,000 rands last year. So last year I didn't save, and that's because as we speak, I haven't been living at home for 6 weeks because I'm busy extending my house. So that's why I didn't save, because I knew I had a project. But how I still managed to have money without having saved, this is what I did. Being in this particular bank meant I needed to sit down with my banker and say, for me to maximize on my points, what do I have to do? And he said, you have to buy your groceries in a particular place. You have to put your fuel only at this particular fuel station. Your clothes, consider using these 2 or 3 shops. Okay? And there's options. You might not be a Checkers or a Woolies or whatever person. Macro. can also give rewards. And again, I'm saying I'm not trying to promote anyone, but it's just to say any bank can be applicable for those rewards. So, but with doing that meant I get more loyalty points. By the time we got to Christmas, I think in my loyalty card, I had about 9,800 rands. And I December. Jonga, I enjoyed it because I was loyal to where I went to put petrol, to where I bought groceries, to where I did online shopping, because I could only now shop at Zando if I needed something online, But you get into the whole time thing, consistency, doing things over and over. I did. I enjoyed it. And it finished only around the 20th of Jan. So you can imagine it lasted me for a long time. All my groceries, all my petrol that year, my kids' toys, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. I used there. Now, what else it meant for me, but we're still getting to the 30-something. And I won't go into too, but I'm just giving you tips, guys, to say you may not have the money right now to save, but you can do things differently. You can spend differently in a way that your money works for you. I love money working for me because it means I'm doing the right things while I'm still living the way that I would have lived anyway. Now, when you are good with your money, the credit bureau tends to pat you on the shoulder, but they won't tell you when they do that. If you don't know that when you spend well, when you invest well, when you pay off your debts well, your credit score gets better. There's benefit to that. It means, I called SA Home Loans and I said, reduce the loan rate. I called, what's MFC for Nedbank? That's where my car is. Reduce the rate because I know that I've got a better credit standing. I called my insurer, won't name anybody. I said, I'm a better credit profiled person or whatever it is. So you need to know yourself because you know the work you've been putting in to get to where you need to go. And I said, and I haven't claimed for 3 years on top of that, reduce my installment or my premium for my car. That's how I paid myself 38,000 rands last year without saving a cent. But because I spent differently, I spent in certain places, fine, but we still have to eat. You still have to put petrol anyway. Yeah, fana, it's the same thing. So those are really just tips to say, sometimes you may not have that money. That's fine. Do things differently. And the more you're aware, the more you ask questions. Go to the bank and say, 30 minutes. I've got this card, I spend my money, my salary comes in here, but what does this card do for me? Okay, so that's just a tip from my side.